In our headlines on this Thursday, July 2nd, here in South Korea. Just days after announcing three major national projects focused on semiconductors, artificial intelligence and robotics, President Lee Jae-myung today pledges the Chungcheong-do provinces will play a central role in the ambitious undertaking. Also, on the local front, South Korea's consumer prices rise 3.2% on-year in June to hit a 30-month high, solidifying prospects of a rate hike by the Bank of Korea precisely 2 weeks from today. In Venezuela, authorities have announced 7 days of national mourning as the death toll continues to rise, with the latest tally showing well over 2,000 losses of lives. The central Chungcheong-do provinces are poised to play a major role in advancing the Lee Jae-myung administration's recently announced three mega projects centered on chips, artificial intelligence and robotics, supported by South Korea's big businesses. Our Yoon Jung-min explains.
Speaking in the central Chungcheong-do province region on Thursday as a follow-up to the mega projects announcement earlier this week, President Lee Jae-myung defined four technologies: chips, displays, secondary batteries, and biotechnology as core national strategic industries that will determine the future of Korea.
그리고 이러한 4대 첨단 산업이 하나의 권역 안에 모여서 강력한 생태계를 이루고 있는 지역이 바로 이곳 충청입니다. 특히 삼성의 결정에 따라 이루어진 HBM 생산을 통해서 첨단 산업 중심지로서 충청의 위상은 더욱 강화될 것입니다.
During Thursday's announcement of regional investment plans, companies committed a combined 392 trillion won, about $253 billion in investments. Samsung will invest in next-generation displays and HBM fabs, SK in NAND flash, and Celltrion in biopharmaceuticals.
We are at a pivotal moment as the global economic landscape undergoes profound change. Samsung will devote its full strength to helping our nation make a great leap forward as a global leader in next-generation industries.
Hailing the decision as a path leading to a leap forward in the country's high-tech industry, the president and his cabinet promised full support, such as financing, tax incentives, and deregulation.
We plan to create special subsidies for new growth engines worth hundreds of billions of won every year and significantly ease a number of complex regulations.
On Thursday, President Lee once again refuted criticism from the opposition, which has raised the issue of discrimination against other regions over the selection of the investment sites, saying that the projects should not be approached in a divisive manner.
이게 선물 나눠주는 게 아닙니다. 여기 한 개, 여기 한 개, 뭐 이렇게 하면 기업 운영을 할 수가 없어요. 그런데 이거 왜 나눠주지 않냐 이렇게 접근하면 안 되죠.
He added that it's the role of the government to support private firms so that they can choose sites they see as appropriate for investment. Lee once again noted that there was neither coercion nor pressure in seeking corporate investment, calling the accusation by the opposition outdated. Yoon Jung-min, Arirang News.
Indeed, South Korea's chip giants have thrown their weight behind the government's new industrial strategy aimed at sharpening the country's edge over the global AI competition with more than $3 trillion. Park Jun-an files this report.
On Monday, Korea's two tech titans, Samsung Group and SK Group, unveiled their ambitious plans to redraw Korea's industrial map. The two have announced a combined domestic investment of 4,755 trillion won, or roughly $3.06 trillion. Samsung plans to inject 2,655 trillion won into the country by 2040. SK Group will invest 2,100 trillion won to build AI data centers and AI memory production belt. What makes this mega project stand out is its shift away from the Seoul metropolitan area. Until now, the heart of Korean chips has been the capital region, but those areas are reaching their limits in terms of electricity and water supply. To expand the capacity, companies are heading south. Samsung and SK will invest 825 trillion won in Korea's southwest region, aiming to turn it into a second semiconductor mega cluster. Samsung will build a new fabrication plant in Gwangju, marking its first core chip production line outside the capital area. SK hynix also plans to establish a new production base in the same region. The investments heavily target AI essentials. Much of the investment will go toward building AI data centers, while Samsung and SK hynix have a global edge. As the world's two largest memory chip makers, they produce high-bandwidth memory or HBM, which feeds massive amounts of data to AI processors at extremely high speeds. These chips are essential for training and running advanced AI models. This capital also secures their leadership in the upcoming era of fourth-generation physical AI, where artificial intelligence moves into the real world through advanced robotics and autonomous vehicles. Operating these physical systems safely in real time requires an enormous and uninterrupted flow of data, which relies on the advanced memory chips produced in Korea. By securing land and resources across the country, Korea's tech titans are laying the groundwork for Korea to become the leading nation in AI. Park Junan, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Han Sang-suk says all government ministries will adopt AI-powered work systems within the year. Speaking at her inauguration ceremony at the government complex in Sejong on this Thursday, Han called for innovation to boost work efficiency, denouncing outdated workplace practices. She added that AI will help the government develop more tailored policies while making administrative services more efficient for the public. In other news now, consumer prices here in the country remain elevated, standing at a 30-month high in June as prices at the pumps remain high. Our Paek Joo-hee reports.
Korea's consumer prices rose at the fastest pace in 2.5 years in June, according to the Ministry of Data and Statistics on Thursday. The consumer price index rose 3.2% year-on-year last month, marking the largest growth since December 2023. Headline inflation has now stayed above the 3% mark since a 3.1% gain was recorded in May. The sharp acceleration was predominantly fueled by petroleum products due to soaring global oil prices caused by ongoing geopolitical tensions in the Middle East. The price of petroleum products spiked 24.7% from a year earlier, the largest increase since July 2022. The price of gasoline and diesel jumped 23.1% and 33.7% respectively, driving up overall industry product prices by 4.4%. As our international crude prices have started to drop, domestic petroleum costs are also going down gradually. However, it may take a couple of weeks for the consumers to fully experience the change.
To be honest, I can't really feel it yet. I remember prices going up a lot, but I don't think I felt the drop too much yet. I think I'll start to feel the difference if it goes down to around 1,500 won.
However, the rally could have been steeper if not for state intervention. According to the Ministry of Finance and Economy, a government-imposed price ceiling on petroleum products, implemented since mid-March, shaved approximately 0.4 percentage points off the June inflation rate. Without this cap, the consumer price growth would have peaked at 3.6% last month.
Domestic petroleum prices are expected to decrease this month in tandem with the reduction in the price ceiling. Consequently, unless there are major fluctuations in other sectors, we anticipate a decline in the overall consumer price index as well.
The government expects inflationary pressures to ease starting this month, factoring in recent drops in international oil prices and subsequent adjustment to the domestic price cap. Moving into the second half of the year, the government aims to cap inflation below the 3% range by deploying an economic stabilization package worth 1 trillion won, or approximately $643 million. Prime Minister Han Sang-suk emphasized on Thursday that the top priority must be placed on managing consumer prices to ease the burden on the public amid the prolonged conflict in the Middle East. Paek Joo-hee, Arirang News.
And the local bourse surrendered much ground on this Thursday in response to rampant fears about a potential semiconductor supply glut. Our Kim Do-yeon covers today's trade and more.
Korea's benchmark KOSPI plunged 7.89% on Thursday, closing at 7,648.09. The sharp drop led a massive downturn across Korean stock markets, with the tech-heavy KOSDAQ also falling 6.74% to finish at 866.72. The extreme volatility triggered sell-side sidecars on both bourses, temporarily halting program trading for 5 minutes, with KOSPI coming just 7 minutes since opening bell. For the KOSPI, it marked the 30th sidecar activation so far this year, underscoring the intense fluctuations gripping the market. Market heavyweights Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix, which together account for more than half of the KOSPI's total market capitalization, also tumbled sharply. Samsung Electronics dropped 9.06% to close at 286,000 won, while SK Hynix plunged 14.57% to finish at 2,187,000 won. The sharp downturn comes as foreign capital continues to flow out of the domestic market. According to investor trading data, foreign investors have accelerated their selling in recent months, recording cumulative net selling of around 980 billion won, or about $633 million over the past 3 months. The immediate sell-off was driven largely by reports that Meta plans to launch Meta Compute, a cloud service built around surplus AI data center infrastructure. The news fueled concerns over a potential supply glut in the AI chip market, sending U.S. chip maker Micron Technology tumbling 10.6% overnight.
The combination of Meta's latest announcement, Oracle's recent structural warnings, and OpenAI's newly unveiled software that significantly lowers GPU demand has generated collective anxiety that the semiconductor sector could peak much sooner than previously anticipated.
Despite the sharp decline, market analysts say the correction is largely the result of profit-taking after a strong second quarter rally, rather than a sign of weakening industry fundamentals. Investors are now watching a series of upcoming events, beginning with Samsung Electronics' preliminary second quarter earnings announcement on July 7th. Meanwhile, the local currency weakened slightly against the greenback, with the $1 exchange rate closing at 1,555.8 won per US dollar. 김도현, Arirang News.
Over in Venezuela, authorities there have announced 7 days of national mourning as the death toll continues to rise, with the latest tally showing well over 2,000 losses of lives. Our Oh Soo-young has the latest.
Rescue efforts continue across Venezuela for missing people trapped beneath collapsed buildings. Over a week has passed since a series of powerful earthquakes struck the country. But families of the missing remain at the disaster sites, holding on to hope that their loved ones may still be found.
I have a missing cousin. Her name is Freydalyn Subero. We are still searching for her. She was in the OPP 27 building complex, and from there, we don't know anything more. She was with her partner, but we have tried to search for them everywhere, in hospitals, on lists.
As of Wednesday local time, the official death toll had climbed to 2,295. The number of injured has also reached 12,267. The Venezuelan government has declared a 7-day period of national mourning in honor of those who have lost their lives. Acting Venezuelan President Delcy Rodriguez wrote on social media that Venezuela's soul is being torn apart by the pain of the lives lost in the earthquake. Some 59,000 buildings were damaged or destroyed by the twin earthquakes, which hit seconds apart with magnitudes of 7.2 and 7.5, according to Oregon State University researchers using satellite images. The International Rescue Committee said disruptions to water and electricity supplies are making it difficult to secure safe drinking water and maintain proper sanitation. The United Nations World Food Programme appealed for $50 million in funding to provide emergency food assistance to as many as 5,000 people over the next 3 months.
Recovery will be a marathon, not a sprint. Sustained support for the people of Venezuela is critical, and it's exactly what we're doing.
The World Health Organization also warned that Venezuela's healthcare facilities have exceeded their capacity, raising the risk of a major outbreak of infectious diseases. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News.
Also on the international front, U.S. President Donald Trump has praised the indirect interactions between the U.S. and Iran through their mediators in Doha this week, claiming that talks regarding Tehran's nuclear disarmament are, quote, moving along well. Our Lee Seung-jae reports.
The United States and Iran reported further progress on Wednesday as the two sides held another round of talks aimed at preserving a fragile ceasefire and ensuring safe shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Speaking to reporters, President Donald Trump said relations with Tehran were improving and described recent meetings in Qatar as productive.
The denuclearization of Iran is moving along well. They've had very good meetings, and we'll see. We hit them very hard for 3 nights, as you know, but we're getting along very well.
The latest technical talks were held in Doha, where U.S. and Iranian officials focused on shipping arrangements through the Strait of Hormuz and measures to secure a lasting peace agreement. Sources familiar with the discussions said Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff met separately with Qatari officials ahead of the talks, while Qatar and Pakistan continue their role as mediators. Iran also announced plans to establish a communication channel with the U.S. to report possible violations of the Memorandum of Understanding signed 2 weeks ago to end the conflict. Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister Kazem Garibabadi said part of Iran's $6 billion of previously frozen assets would be used to purchase goods needed by the country. Meanwhile, Qatar said the latest round of indirect talks ended with positive progress, with both sides agreeing to continue discussions after the funeral ceremonies for former Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei have concluded. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
Thanks to artificial intelligence, language is no longer a barrier at construction sites here in South Korea, where 4 out of 10 workers are foreigners. Our Kim Jun-ong files this report from the ground.
It's 7 in the morning, and some 700 workers gather at this construction site in Seoul for the day's safety briefing. As the safety manager speaks into the microphone, his words simultaneously appear on screens in Korean, Chinese, and Vietnamese. Making this all possible is an AI translator.
There was a lot I couldn't understand in Korean. Now AI translates everything into my native language, so it's much easier to work. It's accurate, and my co-workers like it too.
At this construction site, 40% of the workers are foreign nationals. As more come from overseas, Korean builders are using artificial intelligence to make communication easier. Co-developed by Lotte Group's construction and IT services units, this translator supports 20 languages and even understands construction jargon and on-site slang. By scanning a QR code, workers can select their language and instantly access translations on their phones. The technology speeds up communication, making the work process more efficient.
I supervise Chinese workers on site. It used to take more than 20 minutes to relay instructions because I had to translate everything myself. Now everyone reads the translations, so it takes less than 5 minutes.
The system emerged as an alternative to general-purpose translation tools, which often fail to recognize construction jargon or maintain accuracy in noisy environments. This in turn enables clearer communication in an environment where safety comes first.
There are a lot of noisy and hazardous operations here. The better workers understand our safety instructions, the safer everyone is.
Built on speech-to-text technology, the system keeps getting smarter.
We trained the AI on 300 hours of on-site audio, including background noise. We then built a terminology database to help it recognize construction-specific expressions.
As construction sites become more multilingual, artificial intelligence is becoming a safety solution that benefits both builders and workers. Kim Jun-ong, Arirang News.
And now on the K-pop front, BTS and SSERAFIM will perform at this year's iHeartRadio Music Festival in the US. The festival will take place from September 18th to the 19th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. BTS will be on stage on day 1, while SSERAFIM will perform on day 2 and mark the first time for a K-pop girl group to appear at the annual music event. American artists such as Cardi B and Snoop Dogg are also on the lineup this year. And the annual Chimac festival is taking place in the city of Daegu this week, offering participants a chance to cool off from the scorching heat with chicken and cold beer. Our Hong Seo-jung was there.
The 2026 Daegu Chimac Festival officially got underway Wednesday at Turyu Park in Daegu. The festival celebrates Chimac, Korea's beloved combination of crispy fried chicken and ice-cold beer, or 맥주 in Korean. As Daegu is one of the hottest places in Korea during the summer, local residents as well as others from across the nation gathered to beat the heat with some Chimac. Beyond ice-cold beer and fried chicken, the festival features water shows, EDM parties, and interactive events, offering visitors even more ways to cool off and have fun. Visitors said the festival gave them a chance to make lasting memories while enjoying the lively summer celebration.
Just being outside, enjoying cold beer and fried chicken, watching performances, dancing, getting splashed with water, it's just so much fun.
I came here to make memories with my family. Since we don't get to spend much time together, it was nice to enjoy some food and have fun as a family.
It's great. I like the chicken and the beer. The sound is good and I like the slightly old songs.
Activities such as EDM parties and beer pong added another layer of fun to the festival. More attractions are still to come, with water concerts, chicken eating contests, and beer chugging competitions scheduled through Sunday. The Chimac Festival is expected to draw in at least 1 million people from across the country. Celebrating the attractive pairing of fried chicken and cold beer is something people just can't miss. Hong Seo-jung, Arirang News, Daegu. 짠! 짠!
The seasonal rain front has temporarily shifted south over the sea for a brief break from the monsoon. Meanwhile, we're expecting scattered showers across inland areas tonight, bringing 5 to 60 millimeters of rain. Some areas could see brief but intense downpours with 20 to 30 millimeters per hour, accompanied by gusty wind, thunder, and lightning. It also looks like you'll need to get that umbrella again tomorrow. We'll see another round of showers across the central regions and parts of northern Gyeongsangbuk-do province. Rainfall amounts will range from 5 to 40 millimeters depending on the region. Tomorrow, most areas will start the day at around 20 degrees Celsius. Seoul 21, Chuncheon 19, Busan 20 degrees. Then by the afternoon, Seoul will get up to 30 degrees, Daegu 30, Gwangju 28 degrees. On Monday, the rain front is expected to push farther north, bringing the summer's first monsoon rain to the capital region. Now here's a look at the weather around the world.
Those are the headlines at this hour here in South Korea. Coming up right after this break is our daily panel session, so do stay with us. As always, thank you for now.